Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will be in New York this week for a meeting of the United Nations General Assembly. Trudeau will be at the UN from September 19th until the 21st. The Prime Minister's office says climate change, sustainable development, and securing international support for Ukraine will be at the top of his agenda. Trudeau will also be leading discussions about helping Haiti as it contends with gang violence and political instability. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is also set to attend this meeting, and he's scheduled to speak in person before the UN General Assembly for the first time since Russia invaded Ukraine more than a year and a half ago. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov also may attend the General Assembly. Now, for more on this trip and the meeting itself, we're joined live by Bob Rae, Canada's ambassador to United Nations. Thank you for joining us today, Bob. A lot on the docket for Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. How do you imagine the priority levels will be on each?
Well, I think it's a time for action. I think everyone's agreed that the global situation is extremely critical, and we need to act together effectively, more effectively. And the Prime Minister is going to be here for 3 days, and it's going to be I think an amazing opportunity for us to engage with a number of countries, to engage with the UN itself, and hopefully to have some real impact on the issues that you've just been describing, and that really are important in the life of the world.
Ambassador, one situation that we heard about a few years ago and is now coming up again is the arbitrary detention of different people in different countries, including Michael Kovrig, who will be attending along with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau this weekend. Walk me through what kind of action you think that they'll be looking for here.
Well, our foreign minister Melanie Joly has really made a point of emphasizing this issue at every opportunity. We now have more than 70 countries signed up to take steps against arbitrary detention. It's a way in which some countries use arbitrary arrest and then throwing people in jail as a leverage for diplomatic negotiation. We're trying to move towards a convention that will make that illegal, and we're going to be doing everything we can to get us to that point. But it's going to be one of the things that we think is critically important when we talk about the rule of justice in the world, and how it is really absolutely unjust to be using human beings as pawns in some political or diplomatic battle.
Another big topic here is sustainable development, more specifically in Haiti. We know Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will also be hosting a talk about that as well. What can we expect to hear from the Prime Minister on that topic?
Well, Canada's already taken the lead in this. We've invested a lot of money, and we're going to continue to do that to try to help the Haitian police force to deal with the rise in gang violence more effectively. And there's now discussions around a potential UN security mission, which would add to the activities that Canada and others have already undertaken. Prime Minister will be leading those discussions on Thursday morning. Secretary Blinken from the U.S. will be leading a discussion on Friday, which I'll have the opportunity to attend on behalf of Canada. And we're just trying to reach common ground. Sometimes it can take some time, but we do think there's a growing consensus that Haiti needs a lot of help in dealing with the security situation. And then dealing with the security situation then allows us to do more as well in the whole area of development, economic and social development, that's so critical for the Haitian people. It's a critical part of the world for us. It's in our neighborhood, and we need to take steps to ensure that we have that people are safe and people are secure, and that people have a chance to make a living and lead a decent life. And that's something we very much believe in.
And that seems to be clear in our support of Ukraine. We now see Volodymyr Zelensky joining in on the United Nations summit later this week. Talk to me a little bit about the international aid they're looking for as the war continues for almost a year and a half now.
Well, the Haitian crisis, the Ukrainian crisis involves several things. First of all, dealing with Russian aggression, supporting the Ukrainian president in his fight against the Russian invasion. And I think we've seen in the last several weeks and months that Ukraine has been remarkably effective in turning the tide against Russia, and we want to continue to assist that. But we also have to deal with the human consequences of the invasion. There's 11 million people who've been displaced. Half of them have left the country. The other half are displaced inside Ukraine. A Canadian is actually leading the effort. Denise Brown is leading the effort of the UN on the humanitarian side. Canada has contributed almost $1 billion now to the assistance to Ukraine. And we're going to continue to do that because the war is having a very, very negative impact, not only on the people of Ukraine, but it's also having a really negative impact globally with higher food prices and higher inflation, things that Canadians have seen in our own lives. A lot of this can be attributed to the crisis that's been created by the Russians, and we need to deal with that.
Another thing leading to this higher cost of living is climate crisis, right? It's an ongoing issue talked about for quite some time. Canada hasn't necessarily been able to meet the targets that it set out for itself and on the international scale. So what can we expect to hear from Trudeau on that aspect?
He'll be talking about two things. I think, first of all, is the efforts that we are making. We're an energy producing country. We face a big challenge in reaching targets, but we are getting better at it, and we're going to continue to see progress there. But we've also got to deal with the needs of a lot of countries that are suffering a great deal. Everyone will have noticed and seen the tragedy in Libya. 20,000 people dead because of the collapse of two dams in the face of unprecedented torrential storms. And this is all connected to climate change. There's no denying that. The scientists are agreed. It's very clear what this means. This is the new normal for us now. We're going to see more severe weather. We're going to see more events and greater challenges for countries, Canada included. We've been through a storm this week. So it's something that we have to be able to respond to. It's part of what connects us to the rest of the world is the fact that this is a planetary crisis. It's not just a Canadian crisis, or that it's a crisis that affects one part of the country or another. It affects all Canadians. We've seen it through this summer, but it's been a very difficult summer in terms of forest fires and other severe events that have caused a great deal of hardship for people. But what we're feeling in Canada, people are feeling around the world, and many countries are much less able to cope with the cost of this than we are. So we have to take further steps. There will be a lot of requests from other countries that we do more. We'll have to listen to those, and I know the government is going to want to be able to respond to that. We're going to have Minister Joly here, Minister Hussein, Minister Guilbeault, Minister of the Environment, as well as the Prime Minister. So it's going to be a full court press from Canada.
All right, a very busy 3 days indeed. That's Ambassador Bob Rae, Canada's ambassador to the United Nations. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Edith. Good to be with you. Thank you.